someone who really likes to observe what other people have done and attempt to replicate that. So I think practical next steps: find someone you look up to in your field, find a handful of people really, and just do your private investigation, see what their journey was like, and see how you can follow that, or what you can take from it or subtract from it. It's okay to change your path. That is the very first thing I'll say, because the minute you accept that whatever choice I make now pertaining to my career doesn't have to be where I'm stuck for the rest of my life, it takes away the burden of thinking I must get it right now. Right? And I'll repeat myself. The minute you accept and you understand, I have many years ahead of me. If you figure it out early, amazing for you. Most of people figure it out in their 30s, in their 40s. Like the career path they want to stay in forever. But the minute you know, as a young person, as a young adult, as a teenager, that, okay, whatever I decide right now to start with doesn't have to be where I end my career. I can change. I can start here, go somewhere else, come back here. The world is my oyster. The minute you have that mindset, it empowers you to take practical steps, right? Which brings me to my second advice, would be explore broadly and widely. So like Kirian said, like not many people know what they want to do from the job. I also didn't know what I wanted to do from the job, even though he's selling the idea that I'm very strongly convicted right now. And what worked for me was trying everything. I have tried some things, I don't say many things. I've tried social media, jobs, when they were still a thing back then. Now you're using fancy words for it, right? So I tried internships, right? And I think it was an internship that made me know I wanted to do human resources. I started my career in corporate, and I interned in an organization that had multiple departments, which I had never known before I interned. So you don't know, for me, I didn't even know that corporate was so organized. They had finance, IT, HR, financial control, internal audit, risk. So many things I had never heard of in school, but having that internship opened my eyes to the world. So for me, I was like, yeah, I can't work in this department, because I was interning there, so I could see practically what people were doing, how excited or miserable they looked while at it, and I was like, yeah, that I can't work there. And then eventually I found out that, okay, these are my people, I think I want to work in HR. That's how I found my footing. I also did a lot of volunteering, right? I did free admin jobs, I did like volunteering to teach, just to find out, is academia my path as well? So first thing first, know that it's okay to change your mind. You don't have to get it right from the jump. You can explore various paths till you find your final destination. You can always return if it's not what you want to do. And I've seen people do this at different stages of their lives. At the early stages, at the older stages. So know that it's okay. Know your no's, your NO's.
That
so
means you can't venture.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so important. I'm so indecisive as a person. I've gotten better at it now, but like, I usually never know what I want to do immediately. I have to really, and because I'm such an overthinker, I'm thinking, okay, how can this go wrong? How can this go? So before I get to where, like my destination, I'm stressed. But something I know that someone told me years back is, if you don't know what you want to do, at least know what you don't want to do. It takes you closer. Like, so that's like an elimination approach as well. So it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to work in finance, but I know for sure I don't want to, be an entrepreneur or start a business, because I don't have that business mindset. I don't know, or I'm not creative. Oh, I know I can't be an artist. So it's like knowing what you can't do. And the more you eliminate, it gets you closer to a smaller pool of things that, okay, maybe I can do this, I can try this. So knowing your no's, like, not for me, will help you a lot. Yes, you're young, you have the advantage of time. We are all young, we all have advantage of time. You can try over and over again. But you also need to be strategic in how you're trying.
How important is personal development in career success?
I don't think one exists without the other. I think even, the part of finding your career will help you develop as a person, as an individual. When you're exploring, when you're trying your hands on different things, you get to know more about yourself. I found out when I was doing business that I don't like nonsense. So I didn't have that, and maybe it's humility also to be stepped on because of business. And I know a lot of business owners have to do that at first until you scale to the point where people respect your brand, you can employ people to eliminate all of that, right? But the process of finding your career path will build you as a person, will make you discover your strengths, your weaknesses. But also, while you find, while you're on the path to discovery, it's important that you're also trying your hands on soft skills, right? And because soft skills are transferable. When they say, oh, we're looking for someone who can do this role, some things are the same for every role. We need someone who's a good communicator. We need someone who has strong problem-solving skills. We need someone who has very good team player abilities. We need someone who is hardworking. We need someone who is ready to do the work, get their hands dirty. Not the dirty of, doing the wrong thing, but like, they're not going to pick, say, oh, I'm too big for that. So there are some skills that are transferable across any role, whether you're a businessman, you're in corporate, it's relevant. When I was in UI, and I saw people just carrying all those things on their head, I used to be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, it's why you're here. Like, people will be like, oh, I'm going for this meeting, I'm going for that meeting. I'm like, I used to roll my eyes badly. Like, these ones don't have priority. And it wasn't until I was doing my application then, the first time, after I finished self-counseling myself and I was over it, I said, okay, let me apply. So in the application, they started asking things like, oh, list the volunteer opportunities, clubs you are part of, projects. I was like, what? And it makes sense, right? Because the average person applying for this opportunity has the same grades as you do. Yeah. So what distinguishes you? They don't know how you look like, they don't know how you sound. But if everybody's coming with, oh, I have two, and I have two, and I have two, okay, you're just like every other person, right? You've not shown them well-roundedness. Even sports. As in, when I was doing this application, I had to start asking people that, can tell me, like, what do people do in this, like, after that application, I applied for student union twice. When you find yourself in an environment that forces you to compete, or like there's somebody who's intentionally trying to sabotage you, that's when the true test of your faith, comes up. And in fact, he has said it all by saying, know who you are and be unapologetically you. And I think I will go a step further and say, know that your career journey is not a survive by all means, by fire, by force. The minute you also know that, it means you can remove yourself from any environment that consistently tests and tries to break you as a person. The minute you know it's not a do or die affair, this place is great, but I will lose myself if I'm here. The minute you know that, it becomes easier to step back, to remove yourself from any situation like that. As a Christian, as a Catholic, very important to always seek God's guidance, the Holy Spirit for discernment when you're making decisions. Pray, commit it to God's hands. Aligning, your career path to your faith. So, for example, you're a Catholic. Maybe you can't work in Mary Stopes. Maybe you can't work in clinics where they promote certain things like birth control, things like that, right? So also examining the career path you're going to take versus your faith, because that will also help you to avoid tricky situations, especially the ones that can be avoided. Of course, life will always hand you some random thing you never expected. But if you can avoid some things up front, avoid it. I think finally, it will be knowing your purpose beyond the benefits you're getting from the job, right? So I'm doing this because it will pay me well. Of course, no brainer, I'm there. But like beyond the nice salary, are you fulfilled? Are you doing impactful work? that also, it takes you back to your faith, what you believe in, what is important, what has God put you on earth to do, right? So also always knowing what the purpose is beyond the salary, beyond what is clear to the eye, the benefits, is super important.